Welcome back to Dos Amigos Part 2. I'm Wilmer Valderrama.
I'm Freddy Rodriguez.
And we are here in Dos Amigos. In today's
Tres Amigos.
That's what I was about to say. And today we officially are three amigos. Welcoming back our brother Topher Grace.
Topher Grace in the house.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. So diving right back into it.
That group of knuckleheads I was friends with in college, who Wilmer's met a couple of them.
Yeah.
Another dare situation was we snuck into the Oscars because the Shrine Auditorium where the Oscars used to happen was right across the street from our dorm.
Oh, I remember.
And so we rented we were like, I'm drinking, looking down on it. We're like, I bet we could just like take a limo and just drive into that tomorrow. This is pre 9/11 security.
Oh,
like, whatever.
my God.
So we rented we called a limo place and they're like, no, the limos are all booked. It's the Oscar. But the guy was like, give me $100. I'll come around the block and pick you up. And so we went and rented like tuxedos. No, we didn't have enough money for tuxedos. We rented bow ties and then wore black jackets and black pants. Got in this. It turns out, by the way, it was like whoever's limo it was had their credentials in it. So it was like Nicole Kidman took it there. It had her credentials, so he came around and got us. So we got through the barricade.
No way.
We just walked out the red carpet. We were waving at everyone. Everyone's like, kind of like, who's that? Like we just, we had a one of those roll-up cameras. And we were taking pictures of ourselves. And anyway, we were doing crazy stuff like that. Wow. We just sat and watched, like, Matt and Ben won and Titanic won.
So you went all the way in?
Oh, yeah. The audience is only seat fillers. Like, it's only the first 5 rows that have the biggest stars in the world. And then no one's... Right. So I was, like, sitting behind Cher and, like... I remember I took a piss next to Gregory Peck because he was, like, at the urinal next to me. That was a crazy story. So we were like, Hollywood's fun. And I didn't feel like, I didn't think I was ever going to work here. And the other
or even
thing,
get in trouble for something like that. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, what are they going to do? You're not going to go to jail for... They're going to kick us out of the thing.
Yeah.
You'd love it. A guy in security came up to us at one point and was like, who are you? And as he did, I just started yelling at one of the other guys, like he was my assistant. And the guy laughed because he was like, this is embarrassing. Like, I was like, no, then get him to me now. No, your job is to get... And he was like, all right. And he just laughed. All right. And kept hanging out. But then we maybe because of that, we started remember Daily Variety used to have the productions that were going on?
Yeah.
In the back
of course.
So we're like, oh my God, Jennifer Love Hewitt's starring in this movie called The Party.
Oh, yeah, it was called The Party.
That sounds like we all just seen I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever. So we're like, let's go to that. So we called the producer. I mean, really, don't include this if this is too boring.
No, this is like truly the best part of the podcast.
And we were like, my friend came up with this. He called up and he goes, hi, who's this? She goes, Susie, who's this? And he hung up on her. And then he called back like half an hour later and goes, hi, Susie, it's Chris from Jim Brenner's office at Universal. She's like, hi. There was no internet, so you couldn't like look up. He's like, so Topher Grace and his friends are going to be, want to come down to the set. He's John Grace's son, which is about not a lie, but John Grace is just my dad. He lives in Connecticut. So he wants to come by to the set and say hi to the cast. And like, all right, we'll leave some passes for him. So we just went. Where were you guys shooting? That was in some warehouse and like way out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, we shot where you guys shoot.
CBS Radford.
No, at Santa Clarita.
In Santa Clarita.
Oh, that's what it was. We had to take a long, we almost went broke on the taxi ride there. We got there, we walked in, and everyone was there. I was like, we definitely picked the right. So we hung out for a day. I don't think we met, but you might have, if you saw some preppy young idiot just hanging out by the monitors, like looking around. I was
so who'd you get to see while you were there? You're like,
did you see Love? Was she there?
Oh yeah, Love was like, hi, like nice. We saw who else? I think Jerry O'Connell was there that day.
Oh, Jerry, yeah.
And who else?
Ambrose?
Jamie Presley. We're all like, hello.
Jamie, yeah.
And
Seth Green was probably somewhere in there.
Seth was probably there, yeah, which is funny because like now we know him.
Did you ever tell him that story, Seth Green?
I don't know. I should tell him that story. Yes. I don't know why. I just thought. I think I remembered you were in it because then we went to see the movie. and We were like, Hollywood's fun.
Wow,
that's incredible that you heist yourself into the Oscars.
And on a movie set and like, dude.
Well, it just goes to show how little I thought that I would.
He was like, I was shy in like real life. Like, dude, you're.
Whatever. I mean,
you're breaking into the Oscars.
I was shy when I was there. I just, we just sat around and.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, Topher Grace, when it comes to working with directors, who did you feel you learned from the most?
Well, number one would be David Trainer. And I'm not saying that because
Sure.
you're here.
No, sure.
David directed every single episode of that 70 show, which is very rare in a sitcom. And I told him this, we had lunch recently. I was like, if you had been sick one day, like if he'd missed one day of that show, the show would have fallen apart.
Yeah, 100%.
But he knew us all before
Yeah.
it happened, and he knew how to kind of wrangle everyone. And he's kind of a stage guy. Like
Yeah.
he comes from the theater, and
Totally.
he actually pushed me to do theater, which I did. And he actually, I don't know if you know, when I did that play, I remember you came to see
I
it.
came.
He flew to New York to see it. It was like just wonderful. So the most from him, and I could tell you 100 separate things that he taught me besides just decorum and how to act on a set and whatever. And then after that, I would say,
I mean, you had Soderbergh, you had Sam Raimi,
it's funny with people
Christopher
like
Nolan,
Soderbergh
Spike
and
Lee.
Spike Lee, but specifically with Soderbergh and Spike Lee, they say very little. So I don't think
I think they trust their casting.
Yeah.
They're just like,
if I want to be a director, I think I can learn a lot from them. As an actor, you're kind of like very appreciative. You worked with
For the
Spike,
space.
or they just like they. I think it's because Steven comes from documentary filmmaking. So I remember one time asking him, because I was used to getting more direction than he was giving me, which is zero. And I was like, hey, I mean, he was walking around with the camera, just filming it different ways. And I would say like, hey, do you want me to, do you have any direction for me? Or do you want me to do it this way? And he went, oh, I don't know. And he walked. Such a great answer. Because it's true. He's like, I don't want to put my fingerprints on your. So those guys I admire a lot, and their films are amazing, but I don't know. I guess I did learn something about trust and trusting your teammates, but they're so do your own thing. They don't do a lot of takes. And Chris Nolan's like that too. I had a small role in Interstellar, but he did you think he does 100 takes because his films are so precise, but he's so precise that he only does one or two.
wow.
And did you get a lot of direction from him?
No. I think mostly what I've learned from them is that the masters, and I'm sure this is true for people who were masters before I started working, that they are so dialed in and know what they want that production is not an afterthought, but it's like they've figured it all out. You're the person who's supposed to be playing the role. This is the person who's supposed to be doing wardrobe.
Right.
And it's almost like, I think, an exercise if they could take themselves out of it almost a little bit. Oh, you know who I worked with who I really loved who was like that is Curtis Hanson. He passed, but he did LA Confidential,
Yeah, of course.
8 Mile and stuff. And he did Too Big to Fail. And he was like that. He was like, he didn't want to touch, he was like overseeing the process to make sure no one interfered with anyone. And everyone did their best work. And then you watch the thing and you go, it's just brilliant.
How about Spike?
Spike is amazing. I mean, the other thing I've learned from all those guys that I just mentioned is they're all really fun. You think they're serious, especially Chris, probably because his films are so
British
serious. And Spike, maybe you'd think is serious, but they are you're having a blast. The energy is always at 72 degrees,
Right.
with 30% chance of
Yeah,
rain. It's always at a
yeah.
perfect. They never let it dip. They also don't let it get too crazy. It's just. They're kind of masters of what the tone is, and I loved working with those guys. Also, I mean, and you're not. You guys have worked with directors like this. You're not just excited to work with them because you think the film's gonna be a hit. It truly is. If the film were never to come out, it's truly a great experience. Yeah,
Right. I have a couple of friends who are in the Odyssey right now shooting. That's going to be a very challenging shoot. What I hear, it's pretty challenging.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? It's just the
Well,
elements.
the scope of it, right?
Oh,
It's
the
pretty,
scope. I mean, you're talking about 4,000.
but I'm
extras.
telling you, he's a funny guy. I had a lot of laughs with him. You would love him.
Oh, that's awesome.
You guys would really get along, and it's they always make sure. It's they take it so seriously, and then they don't take it too seriously, which is kind of great actors too. I think maybe.
Well, he's he has the perfect scenario. He can ask a studio, give me $300 million, and they're like, yeah, here. It's so he's how bad can it be when you're on set with him? Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I do feel, I remember doing Fast Food Nation with Richard Linklater, and he was also that.
I'd die to work with him.
He
man.
was so
I'd die to work with that guy.
hands-off.
Yeah, yeah.
But then he would just like, it was a vibe, you know.
That's right. That's right.
You know, he'd come in and he'd be like, Wilmer, for you, it's like wide eye, first time, everything. Do it again. And like, he'd go back and then he's like, action. And then he'd say cut and he'd be like, yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, so like,
You said it, dude. It's a vibe.
yeah.
I think the best directors, they know that the whole thing is dependent on like a
the
vibe
flow.
happening.
They're like, it's an orchestra, right? Like, and they're just like pulling here, pushing there, you know, and it's he's letting it move on its own, but he's like just guiding it a little bit.
Yeah. Tarantino was like that. I did a movie called Grindhouse. It was Robert Rodriguez.
Don't tell me he doesn't talk a lot though.
Who, Quentin?
Yeah, don't tell me he's like the silent type.
No, man, no. He's what you see is what you get. You know, like he wears his heart on his sleeve. Was so gracious and nice to me.
How many takes you doing at the beginning scene?
Well, I started in Robert's half. But there were supposed to be 2 movies that we were shooting back to back. But he was there during the whole experience and direct. There'll be times
it was a
Robert
double
said-
feature,
It was a
right?
double feature.
But he was directing what? B Unit on.
No.
Robert's?
So our movie was called Planet Terror. His,
Oh no, I
his
saw
was
it.
called,
Dude. I saw it in
okay.
theaters.
Yeah.
But
So
he was doing his own thing.
Correct. But he was just there, like while we were shooting our thing, because he just wanted to be part of the
Yeah.
experience. And there'd be times that Robert would be like, "Hey, Quentin, just direct the scene, man. I'm gonna go." Like Quentin will step in and direct the scene. You
That's
know,
great.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But you see the genius, man. It's unexplainable. He's a library of film, and it's so like effortless. But you feel the genius just coming out of him. It's so effortless.
But if he gives you a lot of stuff to think about, is that difficult?
No, did he give me a lot of stuff to think
Yeah,
about?
like when he comes up to you in between.
No,
takes.
he's just very instinctual. You know, he never like went to film school or anything. He's all instinct. You know, so if you're doing a scene, like it's all about his instinct, and he's like, "No, do it a little more this way, a little that way," but you feel that it's coming from a place that is so seeped in like film history and
Oh, yeah.
and it's
And,
coming
like pure
from,
love, like pure love. of
Totally,
cinema. Yeah,
totally, 100%. But I worked with the Hughes brothers. I think we had this conversation at dinner. I did a movie called Dead Presidents with those guys, and probably out of all of the directors I ever worked with, I learned the most from them.
And why is that?
Because, and I think maybe this had to do with we were so young at the time, and like we had like a couple of weeks of rehearsal before we shot the movie. And it wasn't even like rehearsal. We weren't really like rehearsing scenes, but every night we would sit down and watch a movie. And they would tell us why a movie was good and why it wasn't. Why a performance was good and why it wasn't. It was like the best film school I had ever been to. And they were so gracious with that knowledge and with their time, you know.
Toph, do you think you transition into a director at some point?
No.
Really?
Especially having
I would
worked
think
with.
you'd be such a good director.
That's nice of you to say, man.
Because you know, I know we in some of our notes that our producers are here gracefully really worked hard on it. We're talking about home economics because you were almost every possible hat you could think of, from the editing room to the writer's room to.
I was in the writer's room.
But you
I
had to
had
have
an
meetings
opinion.
with
Did
the writers.
you,
had,
did you create
know.
that show?
No, it was a great script that I read that I loved, and everyone was nice enough to really let me be a part. You know those things where they say, we want you to be a producer, but then they're kind of like, but not really.
Right.
But these guys were.
In order for you to say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a
Basically,
producer
yeah.
on it, yeah.
But they were awesome, and I got to participate as much as I wanted to. I kind of didn't want to go into the writer's room because I thought they were so talented, and
It was very funny.
I love that show. And Carla's amazing. I really loved working with, I loved working with everyone on that show.
Yeah, you love working with her more than you love working with me.
I'd say by double or triple.
Wait, that's a lot.
Yeah. Oof.
That's a lot, and a guy like
Just
really-
putting you guys in
like
next
I'm
to
instantly sweating right now.
thinking about both of you guys in my mind, I go like, how are you even acting?
But you wore so many hats, right? So I was wondering, why haven't you thought that directing is something because you think about all the details and you pay attention to all this
That's
stuff.
very kind of you to say.
It's very kind.
Maybe a little too kind.
Maybe a little too kind. I might just take that back.
I feel like I don't have the visual sense. Like when I'm reading a script, whenever I go on set, I'm like, oh, that's a better idea. Like my idea of how to shoot it is like the wrong idea, and the director
But I
has the
think
better
if
idea.
you grab an amazing DP, right, who knows how to put the lenses where you need them, you could really guide a tonal, innovative story.
Well, I would
believe
work for you if you were directing something, but for me, I'm like, I feel like a jack of all trades. Like I really have, I feel like I had a natural skill at acting, proved by the fact that I never acted and then I got the show. And so I'm very happy to do that and love it. And then I've loved educating myself about editing more, educating myself about, writing without, I've never written anything, but that I've shared, but I want to know as much about all the other, what everyone else does. So when I'm in the editing room, like I've never edited, something that I've been in, but when I'm in the editing room, I don't make an ass out of myself.
Right.
I kind of understand what that is. And if I were to go in the writer's room, I don't think I'd say something that people are going, oh my God, this guy's an actor. So that's my goal. And it's fun to learn stuff that's around, I think it makes you a better actor if you learn about all that stuff. I'll tell you, editing for me has been amazing because I used to do a lot of the same take over and over again. And now I do like just crazy different takes. Of things.
Right. Oh, you mean like you're trying to get that one choice right?
Well, I
over
give
and
the
over and
editor
over again?
5 of the same options.
Right.
And now I do a lot of different
Well,
stuff.
speaking of editing,
Yeah.
right? Perfect segue.
Yeah,
Thank you, Topher. I don't even know how you did it, but we really wanted to talk to you about the Star Wars situation.
Yeah, how did that?
It's got blown a little out of proportion.
But
How did
but
this-
no.
yeah.
But let me also say a couple of things. One of the biggest bonding moments for us is that we love the same movies too, right? So like Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, right? Star Wars. Like we were really into this, larger than life ideas.
Wilmer and I used to have a game on set. This kind of just kids who grew up in the 80s game where I'd say to him, like, the game was you say to the other person, where's he going? And the other person says, home. So team me up. Say, where's he going?
Where's he going?
Home. And we do that for hours, and the pauses would get so long and so corny, whatever. But that was because we grew up watching all the same crappy movies.
Feed me in.
Where's he going?
Well, you should have gone a long time ago.
That you changed it? Oh, man. I miss you, dude.
We had this.
Oh, my God.
we had this
As
ongoing
Wilmer looks
joke.
into the sky.
Honestly, that was the ending to the Fez storyline.
Yeah.
We also thought, like, what if, like, at the end of 70 show, the Vista Cruiser or, like, the minivan or whatever just took off up in the
That's
air
right. It was what Fez was never from Earth.
And then somebody, like Jackie or somebody, goes, where's Fez going? He's going home. That's the end of 70 show. It was just so bizarre. Honestly, that would have been an epic ending.
I hope everyone just saw it. That's what we were doing.
Literally.
For
all
hours
day,
and hours.
all day.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, were you asking we were asking a question or something. I'm sorry.
Well, you brought up editing, and I haven't seen it, but y'all were explaining it to me that
Yes.
you, and maybe you can explain.
Yes. So you chronologically cut.
Okay, here's what happened.
Please.
I produced a film. Another thing I loved learning about was also it's just great how you start to realize acting and actors are such a small part of the process. I started to realize, like, I was wondering, what's going on in post? Like, why is it taking them so long? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we shot the movie, just put it in order. And when I went into post, I made such an ass out of myself. I gave such terrible notes, and I still am so regretful about it. So I bought an Avid, and I hired someone to tutor me how to cut things myself, not to cut things I was
an
doing.
Avid?
Yeah, I went on eBay and figured it out. And the show had ended, and we had the time. And I wanted to learn just, there's that rainbow keyboard that and the ball, and I didn't know how to use any of it, and I learned it all. And the way I learned was I first took Atonement. You remember that film, James McAvoy? And I had an idea about how there's these flashbacks that happen right after, and I was like, wait, you could reorder it and go to the present and do it all. So it was like a 40-minute short film that I showed people who hadn't watched Atonement. They were like, that's good. I mean, it was totally different. Like, they lived in the ending and had a happy ending.
Oh, wow.
Totally. But people were like, that's a good, short, but why is it 40 minutes? I was like, I got to find something that's really long. And I do love Star Wars. And so I wasn't so hot on the prequels. So I took the new 3 films. They didn't have the J.J. Abrams ones out yet. Mm-hmm. So it's just these ones with Natalie Portman. And I put them back to back to back and inserted all of the outtakes, because the outtakes have all the effects done in them, because it would just be them on a green screen.
Yeah.
So it was like 9.5 hour long movie. And then I just whittled it, as I'm learning to edit, whittled into like a hour and a half. And there's kind of, within that trilogy, there's one actually
Epic
good movie.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah, that's the problem. But it was, and I showed it one time, but there was a blogger in the audience.
Yes.
So it really, were you
You had-
there?
you had-
Were you at
Yes,
the
it
screening?
blew up. No, I never went to the
You had a
screening.
screening.
Oh, you had a screening.
A screening at the Soho House. It was like, 100 people, and people were going insane. I ended it at a more fun part, I think, like right when that mask is coming on, and then but people were really going nuts. And then I did it a couple times. We did Close Encounters, which is a lot of different versions of that movie, and we did it with The Hobbit. But it was, and I was doing it with friends were doing it too. So it was like a bunch of people I know who cut, and it was. Again, I don't ever want to cut, especially the future directors I work with. I never want to cut anything I'm on, but it was just informative to me how the process works. And
But that I mean, it's epic, by the way. That's a lot of footage to go through. How did you stitch the music and all that stuff, like the cues, the music cues, and all that
it's
stuff?
hard. There's a way to.
We just cut in per scenes, or
No, you can strip the music out by going onto like different channels, and
oh,
it's all boring. But
sneaky, Mr. Grace.
So it was like an exercise in editing more than anything to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if I took it out now, it's probably not even so good. But I think it was that Star Wars no one knew there was ever going to be another one, so it felt like it was over. And there's like a new one, kind of. It felt
Right.
like. Now
That's
there's
what I'm
enough
saying.
Star Wars material.
That's what I'm saying. I think you should consider directing. You'll be
How
surprised.
about I'll edit your film that you direct?
That would be awesome. That would be pretty awesome. You'd be like, what is that credit going up there?
But that's your passion. I hear Giovanni Ribisi is a DP. He does
Yeah.
some DP
Yeah.
work.
Apparently he's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you? You directed before.
I have not on a major level like that. I got really passionate about producing. I love to me it's like a puzzle. And I love
Yeah.
like putting the puzzle together, and I think I have good instincts, and so like having the instinct to go, oh, that guy should be the director. That guy should be,
Right.
like I go off of instinct and feel, and I think I'm all right at it.
You know what I started loving when I got into producing is clearances.
Clearances?
Yeah. Like
Wait,
really
wait.
getting into the nitty gritty of clearing something, meaning when you're watching a movie and they have like not a Coke can, but something fake,
Right.
like a fake soda, and you're like, that took me out of it. Or the number is 555. Which I love getting into it, or getting a song that you can't get clear. They go, the artist will never let that happen. And I love really getting into it and being like, no, I had a film where we wanted to clear. I won't even say who the artist was, but some popular song from the 90s.
What was the movie?
It's called Opening Night. And we're trying to clear it. They couldn't do it. They said, they finally called the musician's agent. And the agent said, yeah, if Topher Grace feels so passionate about it, if he walks into my cubicle and hands me the check for $50,000, then I'll make sure it clears. Because the song was going to cost $50,000 or something. But we had the money. We just didn't, the artist wouldn't clear it. So it's nothing to hop in your car and just drive down to this guy's office. But the guy was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't really think you'd show up. And I was like, here, man, do we get the song?
Just go- yes.
And then you get this song that no one can ever
Yeah.
get,
Yeah.
I mean, he had to call this artist and be like, sorry, I promised someone you could use it in your film. But I love I love all the little things about. That's what I love so much about producing on home economics.
Yeah.
Is that you can move so many things. Fame is such a stupid currency, but when you use it like that, you start to feel like, oh, it's good.
I mean, everybody wins, right? Like that's the other things. Like you can make these phone calls, you create exciting packages, the clear and stuff. I mean, I've always been. I have a passion for getting titles that people think I should never have. Like I went to I approached Capcom in Japan, and I controlled Street Fighter for like 2 years.
No way.
And nobody knows that. And everybody's like, like I
know
pitched
that.
it to everyone as like a ground and gritty, like, underground fight club type of situation that eventually the pond keeps getting deeper the later.
Dude, I'm
the
into that
season.
right now. No one was into that.
Well, they're like, oh, comic books and video games, like, dude, that really doesn't work. Like nobody's really like. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like so ahead of it. Same thing with Archie comics. I control Archie comics for like a whole year. I sold it to 20th Century Fox as like, it's like a hipster single camera show. It takes place in Silver Lake, and it's a comedy. But they all still wearing vintage clothes because hipsters, and they wear like vintage cars.
That's a good idea.
It was really cool, and then the rights holder was like, I want to write it, and I also want to direct it.
Yeah.
And there we went. But the Street Fighter one was a major win for me.
That's
Just
awesome.
getting Street Fighter was crazy. It was like I control Street Fighter. It was insane,
Wow.
And then I did it with Zorro too, but Zorro was like I fell in love with John Gertz, who holds the rights and the copyrights and all that stuff. And
It's a huge deal, man.
oh my god, it was crazy. It was crazy. People were like, you did what? But that's the point, right? Like the point is, you make these phone calls, you'll never know if it's a yay or a nay unless you make the phone call.
Yeah.
Right? Like your agents can tell you that's gonna be a heavy lift, and you're like, okay, I guess that's where it ends. But then you decide, okay, let me see what happens when I call. And that's half of this town. That's how shit gets done.
You got that right. How do you feel like knowing him since he was a wee lad and now he's like some big mogul company owner, show producer, movie producer? I mean, multifaceted.
It's a great place for you to tell the hair story. there's that hair story. So.
Okay, I will tell the story, but I would say I don't think I'm actually that surprised. I don't think you and I are that different than we were 20 years ago. So I don't think I'm very surprised about any of it, but I mean that as a compliment. But when we first met, so should we end on this?
Sure.
Our first meeting was Wilmer was new to America, new to English.
And new to like American humor. Right?
Yeah.
Like I have my own like quirky.
By the way, I should say that is something that I loved about you. Is I was like, this humor is different. Like it's coming from a different place. The first time I realized Wilmer was funny was he did an impression of a chipmunk, and I don't mean like the chipmunks in the show, like a chipmunk we saw on the sidewalk, and it was so funny. I was like, what is this? Like everyone does impressions of people. Like why is he doing an animal? This is such a weird story, but it's true. I was like, oh, that's like he's coming from like Neptune. Like I don't even think it's normal his sense of humor in Venezuela. I just think it's like Wilmer's sense of humor. So
It's specific to him.
yeah.
when we first started the show, I mean, I'm talking like day one of us showing up. We went to the wardrobe at Third Rock because we didn't have our own wardrobe area yet.
Yeah, we didn't have our own production offices yet.
And Bonnie was sitting with us all in a circle, and she said, should we all do trust falls? Do you remember that? She was joking, but I was like, I think this is actually like an orientation. It's like, I don't know any of these kids.
Yeah.
And everyone was going around, everyone was being, the fact that Ashton was just chilling out, like everyone was being their quietest like self and didn't want to screw it up. And she said, why don't we go around in a circle and say who we are and where we're from? And everyone, I was like, I'm Topher, I'm from Connecticut, recently got out of boarding school. Ashton was in college or had been in college and was in New York, and he came to Wilmer and he said, my name's Wilmer and my hair talks to me.
My hair talks.
Everyone was like, I mean, even if we wanted to be nice, it was like, what?
What?
And then he didn't know English well enough to recover whatever it was he was trying to say, which I think like literally 10 years later, I was like, dude, what was that joke supposed to be?
We were talking about, there was a conversation of like, I have so much hair and it's like so thick of it, like it's hard to do anything. Like my hair has its own personality.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay,
where
so
it's
still
coming
not a great joke.
It's still not a great
What's the
joke.
point of that?
You know, I just want you to get to know me. Well, this is our show, guys. Thank you so much for, on that note. Topher, thank you, man, for coming and blessing our show and being so open to reminisce and what was, I mean, obviously, you know, I remain an incredible big fan, but most importantly, I'm excited that, you know, the world gets to see you on TV again. When is this Netflix show? You know when it's going to happen?
In June.
This June already?
Yeah.
Whoa. How many episodes do you guys shoot on that?
It's only 8 episodes, but it's you know what, I haven't seen it yet, but I think it's great. You know that feeling when you come out of
No,
it?
and by the way, Netflix consistently doesn't put together packages like that. But I think you work with Maria Bello there, my old co-star from NCIS, and that.
Maria's in it. She's great. Hope McNally, Melissa Benoist, Jake Weary. Just it's like across the board, great actors.
What's it about? Can you?
It's about a family that kind of runs drugs in North Carolina, but they're like, you know, like one of those streaming shows. They're like the good drug guys, and I'm like the bad drug guy.
Right.
Yeah. And are you one of the?
I'm the bad guy.
Wow.
So it's like
We
like
know
we're
right
talking
away.
about. Oh yeah, they talk about. I don't come in until episode 4 or something. So
cool,
it's like
cool.
In fact,
So you're the big bad wolf.
they're
You're the
talking
final
about it the whole
boss,
time. I
final
think it's a little
boss.
bit of a joke that it's me, but I loved it. It was such a great. Kevin Williamson wrote it, and he's like amazing. And
That's a great
really loved
experience.
working with him.
And
Yeah.
how long were you in North Carolina?
For months. I mean, it's funny. They say it's a show, but you go, these are 8 movies.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with these other
Yeah.
big shows on Netflix. You just go, or at the very least, it's like 3 movies. It's like a trilogy you're shooting.
Is it the same director all the way through?
No, different directors, but you know, it's like
Right.
it's so epic. The money they have for these. I mean,
they can really create stuff.
there was
like
an
a whole
explosion in
world.
one of them, and I was like, this is straight up Michael Bay level stuff.
That's amazing. And you have anything else coming out this year, or this is going to be your?
I did a thing with Glenn Powell, with our buddy Glenn Powell. He did a movie, and I did a couple days on it, and but I don't know when that comes out.
Well,
But that was like
awesome.
in South Africa. I mean, you know, the word's out, but Glenn Powell's awesome.
Yeah.
I know everyone knows. I'm
Yeah.
not breaking any news, but
Yeah.
he's a buddy of yours. Right?
Yeah, I love him.
I knew him a little bit before, and he's just such a great
I
guy.
love him so much, and I'm so proud of him because he really manifested everything he's got. And
But
you know,
he's one of those guys, man. He's one of these guys.
yeah,
He's such a
he
nice
comes
guy.
in a room and lights it up. You know,
Yeah.
he's just like that guy. He's
And
like
he's
a
still the
son.
same guy. I mean, you know, he's great.
Yeah. He's great on screen. He has a
Yeah.
great essence about him on screen.
No, he's really great. We have so many friends in common too. We laugh all the time. He sent me a picture the other day of like, I think it was like he was like 18 years old or something like that, and we were both like this, and I was like, when did that, like, it was crazy, dude. I'll show you the picture. It was pretty insane. But Topher, again, man, thank you for gracing our show and for blessing us here with your thoughts.
Well,
and your
I'm
memories.
here because I love your show, but I'm really here because you've been such a big part of my life, and you still are, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to say it publicly.
Thank you. No, it means so much. It means so much that you read your book, or at least you.
No, I actually really did read the book, and I'd say I don't know who hasn't read the book who's listening to your podcast. It also is on tape,
Yeah,
but like
they recorded it.
But it's such a. I think when it comes to like memoirs, a lot of people are just kind of like saying the events that happened in their life, and it's so cool to see it come from a perspective, from really interesting. And you even you could have written it different ways, but you took it from like one perspective, which I think is really smart.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that so much. And this has been an awesome episode of Those Amigos. I am Wilmer Valderrama.
I'm Freddy Rodriguez.
And stay tuned for the next episode.